live this morning with a new friend, Lou Redmond. He's meeting me here from New Jersey. And so it's a little early for me, but I hope that we get a lot of people visiting with us and talking with us. And I'm anxious to find out all about him. So I'm going to put it over to you. Welcome to Tinseltown, Lou.
It is good to be here, Melissa. Thank you so much for having me on Tinseltown Live.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. I'm really happy that you're here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and we'll get started.
Sure. Well, I'm from the great state of New Jersey. I actually just moved back here last month, and I know I'm crazy. You got to check out Newark, New Jersey in the winter. It is beautiful.
Oh,
so much better than the San Diego where I came from. Just kidding. So I lived in San Diego for 4.5 years right out of college. So I graduated college in 2012. And I went out to San Diego to work a job in the golf industry and kind of doing what I thought to be the American dream of, getting a corporate job and starting to work your way up the ladder. And it was out in San Diego that I kind of found a different path, and a lot of things led me to a different way. And I ended up quitting that job and pursuing a new passion of inspiring and motivating and just empowering people to live their authentic lives. So
you're speaking my language,
that's
friend.
me. Yeah, there we go. We're on the.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. New passion of inspiring and motivating people. I'm typing what you're saying as a heading for this post that I'm doing over on Facebook. To live better life, to
live their authentic life.
Your authentic life.
Yeah.
Love it.
A life that they're excited about.
That's the best thing. You want to. That's an important point. That you want to be excited about it. My theme for 2017 is. Because I try to change it up every year and have a different focus. My intention this year is going to be to live a life, to live a year in bloom, and just in that point of blooming flower where you're healthiest, you're brightest, you're most joyful, you're facing the sunshine, all of that high energy from that feeling of being in bloom. One person who's already pointed out to me that what comes after that is the fading part of it. But you know what? That is the life cycle that we live in.
It's in the constant evolution.
That's right. So then maybe 2018, I'll be rebirth, and it'll be a new start.
It's a new flower.
That's
a new. You plant a new seed, and you get new ideas. You get new excitements, and then you go and you grow a beautiful new flower. And then maybe next year you're doing a tree. Next year I think this is life. It's just constant. It's all about growth. It's all about expanding. And I really believe that those feelings that we have of excitement, those are the things that we need to listen to. What do we get that spark of excitement to? And just to start following that excitement. I think if we can just follow the excitement, it almost gives, it's almost, I think, a lot of people are talking about following their passions, but I think excitement actually gives a faster route to it. It's because in your day, it's well, what are you getting excited about? It's an easier way to handle that question, because the question of what am I passionate about? People, I don't even know I don't have any passions. I think asking it in a sense of what am I excited about?
Exactly. You know what? I just love that. I think that's kind of what my year this year has been about. Sparkle. And a lot of people think, oh, the bling, and she likes glitter. Well, it is that. I do love those things, but sparkle to me kind of was that extra level of excitement. Then I use the analogy of I don't know if you could relate to this. Maybe I don't want to pigeonhole you or anything or stereotype you, but if you've ever had a party and you wanted your whole house to be like, or your wherever you're having the party to be like extra clean to the point where it sparkles and shines, you know, you've got that spit and polish on it. You've got everything in check and everything ready, and you're doing your best. You're showing your absolute best. You got the best china out, and you've got, you know, you've gone to all the extra lengths to make everybody, you know, feel comfortable and be impressed. And I think that was the level that I wanted to achieve this year. And so it is about excitement and energy. A lot of people that I know in my, you know, circle of friends and stuff, okay, I'll say it, in my age group, are like feeling tired and spent, you know, and we're starting to experience empty nests. My kids are off in college, stuff like that. And so having that energy, that's why we're drawn, you know, to the yoga and to the healthy foods and the exercise and stuff. So tell me more about what has changed since you decided to leave your job and do this.
What has changed? Well, life really changed drastically. I guess a good way to, someone said laugh a lot age group. I like that. Thanks, Mary. So I was living, I like this, like, if you bring it down to living with purpose, and I had been drifting, but I didn't even know I was drifting. I had just been following like the cookie cutter route of what I thought I was supposed to be doing from when I was, you know, getting good grades and going to college and doing that thing. But at the same time I was doing that, I also was I was really into the party lifestyle. So it was my motto for a long time was like work hard, party hard. And I got into like a lot of like drinking and like the drug, like the taking the party to like the next level each weekend. And in my book, I talk a lot about the low points and kind of showing this transformation. So I talk a lot of some low points of drinking, and I got kind of involved in the raving scene and my boat just started to drift farther away. And I didn't even know though, because like I said, I was an achiever. I always did well in work and school. So I'd be at my job in San Diego and, you know, working for the weekends. Like I'd get my job done, doing well, like do well at my job. But my purpose was focused on, you know, what are we doing this weekend? How can we take the partying like to the next level? How can we have the most fun? And that's what was my main purpose. So,
wow.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I can relate to that, but I think I went through that in high school, you know, that party hard, but it was really, I was a result of my surroundings, you know, my friends.
Oh, everything. Yeah.
That high school thing. That's good. You got the, you know, this was after college, got a job, and then you're out doing this kind of extreme socializing.
Exactly. I don't know. I love the excitement. I love the excitement that it brought. Like we go back to the excitement. Like it was so much fun to feel this connection, and there's like this greater meaning, and everyone had this shared purpose of we're just going to have a lot of fun this weekend. And that was my main focus. And I was off, you know, wasn't my main focus to like really focus on work or really just I didn't understand this kind of mindset of like trying to really find who you are, find what you love. And, you know, my story goes is that, yeah, the side effects of the drug, like of these drugs, like my drug of choice was taking like ecstasy a lot.
Okay.
And so the side effects is just, it leaves you feeling very depressed, very lifeless. And, you know, probably not at first, but after like every weekend, starting to get in the habit of every weekend doing this. And like my weeks would like, I'd work my way up, and then Friday I'd be here, and then party, whatever. And then the lows just started getting lower and lower on Sunday. And I always say I don't really have like one rock bottom, but I have like a consecutive like weekends of like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life?
Did you turn to other drugs to bring yourself back up for the work week?
So I was never, so when I am a person that like, I was never doing drugs or drinking like I was never doing stuff really during the week, but I had a habitual on the weekend where I needed to, and I couldn't really control myself. Like I would take things to the next level, but I had good control, I guess, to get my job done. I guess it's the work hard, party hard, I guess, motto that I've always had. So
that only lasts so long though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I was never in the rabbit hole of getting down, really down, and then trying to go back, like really going. So I made a decision one day to just like, I understood like what I was doing to my body, and I decided that I was going to stop and just take some time off. And that was like the beginning of me, I guess, living with making a decision. And if my boat was drifting up to that point, it kind of shifted the sails. So after that, I ended up getting invited to this meeting with this group of complete strangers, and they were entrepreneurs, millionaires, life coaches, and I'm sitting there and I'm just that kid who's been partying the past 10 years, and I'm just completely blown away by where I'm at. These people are talking about improving their lives, improving their businesses, and it was a completely new mindset that I was not aware of.
Right.
And that's what really started a shift into like getting into personal development, getting into reading. I didn't know people read books like voluntarily. So I just started exploring all these new things, and all of a sudden what that meeting did is it gave me permission to dream again. It gave me permission to be a little kid dreaming about being a baseball player.
Right. Oh, I love it. I love that you went through that, because that's what transformation is about. When you can go back to your childhood and feel like, what was it that made me excited about life? What was it I wanted to do with, that was not pampered down by any, like, you can't do that because of this, those exciting moments. And that's what I went through too. Like when I became a writer, it was because that was what I always wanted to do when I was little, and so it is a youthful excitement when you kind of finally embrace that. I'm so happy that happened to you. So what happened next, and how did you get to the point of writing your book?
Yeah, so the book is like, the first section is the lower, I'd say the lows, like how I've kind of explained the drinking and the drugs. And then the second section is when I found this group and I started being exposed to like personal development and started changing my life for the better.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a 180 transformation from who I was. Like I just continued to so the book goes into what I was doing that really started to see the shift in my life. And my core thing that I found that I found meditation from this group, just because it was a habit of successful people. And there were a lot of people, it was just something I wanted to try, like not having any idea of what I was in store for, or not really for anything higher than to help my life more.
Mm-hmm.
And it was through meditation that my transformation really, really, really took another level. I was not, seeking or any kind of that. I was not into the belief of the spiritual side of things. And through meditation, I had a lot of deep realizations, and I went through a totally huge transformation through that.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a really intense story, and that's like part of like how the book.
The book.
Yeah, exactly. So what I did was, so I quit my job. I had just gotten a promotion from work 2 months before. I was so pumped about it. It was through like my personal development. I was like, I wanted to move to marketing. I wanted to get this job, and I did it. And I was just starting this new job. I was crushing it at my company, doing really well. And over New Year's, I had found myself in Joshua Tree on a hike, just going by myself. And through meditating, through just hiking by myself, I had some deep realizations of things that I needed to totally stop. And I completely, so it was through meditating up the mountain, and I'm up on top of this mountain, and I have a realization that I need to completely stop drinking, because I had been drinking less, and I made the decision to just completely stop. And it brought with it just a really deep feeling of love. And there was this whole, it's kind of like a rapture feeling. It's really tough to explain because it's so visceral.
It's yeah, and it is hard to explain if you're telling somebody who hasn't experienced anything like that. For me, I called it an awakening.
Yeah, I mean, it was a deep awakening.
Yeah, and for some people, call it like actually earth shattering, or
it was everything
breaks apart and you start over.
It was literally, that was it. I mean, it was an awakening, and it led to those 5 more days of having these consistent feelings of like highs. So highs of like feeling like how I used to feel when I would take drugs, but like naturally.
Yeah.
And that led me to having the feeling that I needed to quit my job and travel and help people. And so with no 2-week notice, like no money saved, no plans on what I was actually going to do, I literally just quit my job. And when I did it, it was so out of left field. Like, people didn't understand it, that 5 police officers actually showed up to my home because they thought I was committing suicide.
Oh, because you didn't show up to work.
No, because I sent this email talking about I quit to my entire company, sending an email to all of them, and I explaining that when the police officers came, they said, are you the one writing emails about some higher calling? And I said, oh man, that doesn't sound good from
how you meant it
from a different perspective.
Yeah. Interesting. People were listening and concerned about you. It's a good thing.
So that led me to a completely unknown life. Like, it was a complete 180 transformation, and a life into the finding really what I like, learning everything about life, learning like the highs, the lows, and really finding what I want to do and what I've felt like I've been given and I want to share with others.
Where did you go first?
What do you mean?
You traveled, you said.
That was my so I had this altruistic feeling that I needed to travel and help people. I had no idea what that meant, but I've actually joined I connected with someone that I knew like in the past that had started this group called World Travelers Association, and they run retreats based on some adventure retreats, and part of it is like volunteering. So I didn't go and travel right away, but I did go. What's that?
You joined the World Travelers Association?
So it's not a group you necessarily join. You go on the retreats, like they have retreats and you can go on them. Definitely was helping my friend with it. He's the one who started it, and in the past 2 years, I've been to Portugal, Morocco, and Nicaragua on like volunteer adventure retreats. So
that's fantastic. On Tuesday the 6th, I'm interviewing my friend Ruth Curran, and she talks about on her blog travel with purpose, and she just went on a trip to Tanzania, so she's going to be sharing her experience. So that is what you're talking about, right?
That's actually his mission. It's like travel for a purpose.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what happened after that? You went on within 3 years, you went to all these different places, and that must have been eye-opening.
The trips were amazing. But at the same time, I was figuring out life at that same moment. I had to figure out I couldn't go get a job at another company. I just totally burned every bridge possible, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. You have to like support yourself, right? So I've been, I was blessed with certain ways to support myself that came out of nowhere, as I really believe that when you do something when you take a chance, you take a risk, like you are going to be supported in ways that you could not have imagined.
I like that. When you take a chance, what'd you say?
When you take a chance, like when you take a risk, you will be supported in ways that you could not have known unless you actually took the risk.
I like that. It's so true. You have to take the risk,
Yeah.
You got to take the risk. You got to try it. And then the support will come. That's having faith. That's taking a leap of faith, or having blind faith.
It's everything. Yeah.
That's the biggest risk of all, because, there's a calculated risk and there's informed and knowledgeable risks, and you take a chance of it going one way or the other. But when you take a blind faith risk and do something totally out of yourself and in a way that you really don't know what the outcome is, but you believe that it's the right thing to do, the support will come. And that's what you experienced. So where did the support come from?
The support came from, as far as, financially, from a job that I was able to, I don't have to get into the details of the job because it's not relevant at all to this, but
work
came and I was able to really work like a week out of the month, and it supported me. So I had all this time to really explore what I just quit my job for. So it was like the best thing in the world, literally.
That's awesome.
And it was a lot of ups and downs in the beginning. Like, I think when you have a deep awakening, and that's something that I'm here to be a support system for, like when you have a deep awakening, I had no idea what was going on at the time. Like spiritually, I had no clue. I never had been exposed to any of this stuff. And so I was learning everything that I went through after the fact. So it was scary. So there's a lot of scary times, a lot of friends and family having no understanding of what I'm doing. I seem like I went, it's like, why did Lou quit his job? It didn't make any sense to anyone. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of a scary time. There was definitely some extreme highs, and with those extreme highs, you have some low points. So for months, months was just figuring out what I was doing, and I found a group called Toastmasters.
Oh, okay.
And that gave me a platform to start sharing my story and start getting up on stage and finding that I really was excited and I really loved doing it. I'd always been into theater when I was a kid, and I really enjoy being on a stage. And I found like a passion for speaking, and that started to get me my head thinking like, wow, I have this ability I can share this thing that I found. I can share this new way of living, this purposeful, loving way of living that I found to more people through inspirational speaking. So that started about 5 months or so after I had quit my job. And I started working on the book like a month after I quit my job. That's because I needed to tell this story. I needed to share what happened for me and the steps that I took to have such a drastic change in my life. And
here's the book, Find Your Truth. So two questions for you. One is, how do you buy the book and how can we support you? And the other one is, what advice do you give to people through the book? Like it's almost an invitation, find your truth, like to others.
Yeah.
And you're sharing your experience. So what is that takeaway?
I'll answer the first question. I guess the book is now, it's available for pre-order on Indiegogo.
Okay.
And it has some packages with some organizations that I'm involved with, and it will be out in February 6th, 2 years to the date after I started writing it. And how will people help find their truth from reading it?
That's awesome.
I give the steps that helped me. So that's the personal development that I started going around with. I really believe that our environment, like you said, really is playing a large factor into who we are. So, I mean, this book is for people that want to expose themselves to a new thoughts that may not be familiar with getting into personal development. It's an inspiring story, and it's like, well, hold on, he started reading this and reading this book. He started to journal. He started to start I go deeper into meditation because it had such a big impact on my life.
Mm-hmm. So what your call to others is to really be open and listen to your experience and hopefully have their own awakening.
Yeah, it's an inspirational tale. It's a journey. It's deep, it's raw, and it's a lot like my story, but I like I said, I share with the tips, like what I started doing, and share that with people to find their truth. And because I really believe that, like we kind of started off this interview, of that excitement. And you can call truth I just call it truth because it resonates with me, but you can call it passion, excitement, purpose. It's whatever that thing that makes you like most alive.
Oh, I love that. What makes you alive? That's find your truth, or no, find your passion and live your purpose is the tagline for my website.
That's it.
I try to help people do that, and just by sharing stories of people like yourself. So, because it inspires us and it makes us realize that, okay, he could do it.
When it becomes normal, when you start when everyone around you, is doing it, then that becomes the new normal. And you set those it's a new way of being. Literally, you're not like who you surround yourself with. If everyone's like that, like when I was going to this group, they were up here and I was down here, and I just kept getting pulled up because, doing what you love and creating a great lifestyle and creating just a great life it was normal. It's the normal thing. It's not, you don't go to a job and, have to work for the weekends and feel like blah every day and hate Monday morning. Like that's not how you're meant to live life at all.
And when you have this energy and this feeling of being alive, you go to work with a happier outlook.
Absolutely.
And you're like, oh, it's time to work now.
Absolutely, yeah.
I have a sign in my office that says, "I'm here to be awesome." And I just feel like I used to be like, that's the grind. You get to work and it was like working for the weekend. But now it's like just be awesome wherever I'm at, and be blessed that I'm have a job at all. And that there's a community there that would call the police if I didn't show up. So I think that's pretty cool. A part of your story, actually.
It's pretty wild. Yeah. But there's an impact, there's an impact you have. And I started doing that, like with my job. There's an impact you have when you are excited at work and you have that impact to other people. Like every interaction we have a chance to show some like to be the inspiring person, and that uplifts other people.
Right. Uplifting other people. That's awesome. Sharing with other people. Doesn't that make it great? Okay, so I've got a couple of pictures of you. Tell me what's happening in that picture.
That picture is actually on a plane to, that one was to Morocco. Yeah, on a way to Morocco.
Okay, what are you feeling right then? You're like,
I'm just feeling the light. I'm feeling the excitement. I'm feeling the love. My girlfriend took that picture, and it's one of her favorites. It was just kind of I think I'm just really excited. It's probably starting to read a book and get ready to to take off to Morocco, which was definitely a life-changing experience.
A new
That's a
adventure,
huge culture
huh?
shock.
Yeah,
it was an
really. I
adventure.
bet. I've only been to the one at Disney World, but I'm like living vicariously through other people. But
Yeah.
my son just went this summer to Nepal and to Kathmandu, and he had these really amazing experiences and shared all these photos with me, and just the difference. I mean, especially coming from the United States, when you go to another country and just realize how different it is, that culture shock. And then what I love about the experience of that is coming to a realization that, but people are all the same. We're all the same.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah.
You're all this. You're all human. It's this
connected. That's
so connected.
Yeah. Okay. So here's another one. This is actually really like this picture.
Oh yeah, you caught it. That's actually in Morocco.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah. So if you can see that the top left is the World Travelers Association logo, and that was we had this beautiful. In that trip, yoga's been a part of two of them. And that trip, we were at this surf yoga camp, and that's like the shala that was overlooking the ocean. Just a beautiful space to do yoga and to meditate, and it's that was a very happy place right there.
You look extremely healthy in that picture.
Well, after meditation, it makes, it has so many properties of health. It strengthens your immunity, it boosts your metabolism, it increases your attention span, it combats aging, it has all these healing principles. And so once I cut out alcohol, which is actually poison, like once I cut out that in my body and started eating really well and meditating, then you don't need to go to the doctors anymore. You just naturally feel and are just better. And I don't know if you found an older picture of me.
Huh?
I don't know if you found an older picture of me where my face is all puffed up, and
I did see a couple, you know. And if you go to your website, you really share in pictures, and I think that's important. I'm like so on the positive side that I don't even download a picture of someone who doesn't look happy or good.
What happened here?
Yeah, it's like, why was that up?
I was an idiot. During that picture. That's why.
But you did show that side of you, and I related to that too. I don't have it around here. I think it's at my office, but I have a picture of myself when I was at a really good point and very happy. I was with my husband. It was Valentine's Day. Everything about me in that picture looked like health. I had small children, so you do go through a kind of glowing point when you have babies and you've been given birth and you're breastfeeding and whatever. And so I was all about motherhood, and then we went out and I was glowing in that picture. Took a dive after that. People in my life died. People, I had issues at work. I had issues with my relationships. I had postpartum depression. I just hit my rock bottom. And when I went in finally and got counseling and got the help that I needed, I took that picture with me. And I didn't look like that person anymore at all. And I showed the picture to the counselor and I said, I want to be her again, and it took some time and some work, but when I did, it was like, wow, that's awesome. So I try to keep that positive image of who I want to be and who I am on the inside. And that makes a difference for me. And so whenever I start to feel down, I look at that picture. I'm like, oh yeah, I got that spirit still there.
Yeah.
So
that's beautiful.
So I can relate with having the pictures and seeing the metamorphosis the change that you went through. So you really do look like a new person.
Thank you.
And you have that energy. So what else would you like to share with us?
What else would I like to share?
About you. And
someone to know about me.
With this fan hitting me. Hold on. You can talk.
No, I'm just thinking, Why
are you doing this? Why are you doing the interviewing? Who else?
Throwing it back on you? Yeah. What else do I want to say? I guess I have a platform to say stuff, right?
This is it.
I truly, deeply, like every single part of my being knows that, if you're watching Tinseltown with Miss Melissa, because you want to find your passion or you want to just be a happier person, like that is not only your, like, you don't even have that opportunity. Like that's what you're here for. Like you're here to constantly expand and be more of yourself. And it's not a struggle as a growth. It's a journey of living in states of higher happiness and higher love. And I really believe that I'm working to have the people that I'm surrounded with in, like, I want people to be in a loving state at every point of the day. I cry for joy a lot.
Aww.
Like I'll just see something and I'll cry. I'm very in tune with my emotions, and I want more people to cry because they're so happy on more than your wedding, more than just when you get engaged. Like I think we have these emotions that we're meant to feel deeply, and I know that by continuing to grow and understand who you are and the things that are going to light you up and make you excited, that you will have these feelings, and it's the ripple effect. It's you have the impact on the people that you come across with, and you can just, I say it all the time, you can't see where the ripple effect is leading, but it's up to us to choose our state and choose the way that we want to show up. And it's completely changed my life. If you told me just 4 years ago and listening to the words that I'm saying now, I would have say I'm so far from that. So I've seen I've also seen things happen that you couldn't have imagined. Like we said, when you are in line with that excitement, you will have support. Doors will open where you didn't think they would be possible. And I really believe this is funny. I don't know. I like those kids movies that are super cliche.
Yeah.
And like your dreams will come true. Like I deeply, deeply believe that there is truth in those kids movies, because it's gonna take some growth. It's gonna take you it's gonna make you become more of a person. But if that's something that you really are like, well, maybe you're at a point in your life where you're thinking like, well, what is my, like, do I have a purpose? Do I have a passion? And I always advise anyone to just continue ask the right questions. Start asking better questions to yourself, and you're going to start finding better answers. And I think so many people they unconsciously ask themselves unserving questions. Like, why does this always happen to me? Why can't I get the job? Why did she get a raise? Yeah. And you're going to get answers to those questions. Your mind's gonna be like, oh, I'm not good enough. That's why I did it again. And then when you start shifting and start asking yourself empowering questions, you'll start getting these empowering answers. Like, well, how can I be happier today? And see what comes up. Or how can I?
Oh, I needed to hear that right now. Yeah, sometimes even with the best intentions and the most positive energy, you still have things that you can't explain. And when you start asking, you go down that rabbit hole of why and why not, instead of just to be. And so it's asking the right questions. That's really important. So Lou, I usually ask my guests what their core value is, or what their core desire is. But I think I know. But what would you want people to feel about what your mission is in life now?
I want people to feel, my mission is it comes down to really one word, and it's just inspire. Like, I want to be a messenger, the reason, the way shower to a more loving, excited, and happy state. Like, I just want people to live in that love in that actual like feeling of love as much as they can, because I've seen what it's done for my life, and I just want, it's just like you have something good, it's like you find, it's like you want to share it. So I found this love, and it's like, hey, you gotta feel this, and you gotta feel this, and
better
you can't just
drug and
you can't just walk.
Talking about, right?
It doesn't really work walking down the street and going, hey, you got to feel this love. People look at you a little crazy. So
I call the police again.
so through speaking, through sharing a message, through empowering other people, and through, for me, meditation, I'm using these mediums to help people to find that love without saying, like, without telling them, hey, find this love, find this excitement. And
but you're telling them to find your truth, and truth is love.
Truth is love. Truth is you. I can't, it's just who deeply down, like who, like you are. And it's different for everyone. I don't know what your truth is, but you have a truth. You have a voice, and you have a spirit that is continually, pointing you in the right direction. And I firmly believe that.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for Toastmasters, because you are excellent at speaking your truth. And I'm so pleased that you are able to do that and feel so confident and set such a great example.
Thank you.
So I want everybody to support Lou and go to his Indiegogo. We'll put the link in on our Facebook, so you can see that when you're watching, and click over and see how you can support Lou and get the book, Find Your Truth. And, that's a good message for everybody, even if they feel like they have found their truth, right? Because we're always searching, we're always growing, and we're always, in a place where if we open ourselves up, we can learn and further expand our horizons like Lou has. So I'm so inspired by you. I really am. And I'm so happy to have met you. Do you have any questions for me? And if anybody's watching, do you have any questions for Lou? Type them in. So question time.
Questions for you. I get to flip it over?
Sure.
Okay. How do you, what is your mission here?
Well, so it's a lot about being inspired and inspiring others. That's kind of what my original purpose of putting myself out there was. I've been doing it for about 6-7 years now. And when I started, I just really was in a place where I wanted to meet people that inspired me, and in the process, be that person for someone else. So that's really, I can connect with you on that. But now every year I choose a focus, and this year it was to connect, create, and sparkle. And so I spend a lot of time connecting, and the way that I love doing that is by the interview process, because I'm a blogger and I've built a little level of influence. I love to help people spread their message. And in the process, I get to meet amazing people from all around the world. And I just find that really enriching personally. Yeah. Yet I love to share that with anybody who's willing to listen. And then I've become extremely creative. I've always been creative, but tapping
We all are creative.
Yeah.
That's such a limiting belief that everyone's like, oh, I'm not creative. You just totally, we all are creating something. You're creating a spreadsheet. You're creating a...
Good point. Excellent.
You can be creative in anything.
You can make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, then you're creative, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to tap into my creativity, and one of the things, in fact, Jenny, we have in common that we both know Jenny, Coach Jenny, the Audacity coach, and I took her Audacity, I can't remember what it's called now.
Audacity Lab?
Yeah, I took the lab in the beginning of the year, and I set my goals and my plan. And one of the things was to write another book, which I did. And one of the things was to get my artwork online and start selling it, and I did. And so having those achievements has been has been my focus, and looking back on the year thinking, wow, you know, I did everything I said I was going to do. That power of having an intention really helps me, and I want other people to learn about that. So I have a book that I wrote like 3 years ago, and it was about my transformation, and you know, I still talk about that. It's how to This is the Sound of My Soul. And
such a beautiful name.
Thank you.
Such a beautiful name.
And well, I can't take credit for it. I did. That's a line from the song True by Spandau Ballet, which was popular in the 80s, which was my time. And one of the highlights of doing that book was getting the permission from you know, the company that represents the person who wrote that song. But I still have in my book, I have permission from Gary Kent, you know, to use the title of the song. So that's kind of neat, because that was like, I was total fangirl when I was So
what's your new book?
I've always loved it. Oh, the new one is A Year in Bloom, and it's
that's The Year in Bloom. Okay.
Yeah, it's actually a calendar, like a daily theme journal, so that you can write your reflections and record what words come to you to focus on each day. And then I'm going to be putting out in 2017 or like oracle card decks that have the 365 words. There's going to be 4 decks. So, and each word will be inspiring, and it'll kind of complement the whole year in bloom.
That's amazing. Well,
I'm ready to go.
Looking forward to. I want to definitely support that. I definitely want to. I think I love the daily inspirations. I have one of those things that I think yours probably will be better than what I have.
What do you have? What do you?
It's like a thing. Some of them are good. Some of them are really like not overly cliche, but it's just a pad that every day you like just rip off and has a new saying on it, or a new.
See, I made this for myself. Really, but this is the book. It's A Year in Bloom. It's available on, you know, I haven't even checked Amazon, but it's supposed to be on Amazon. But like, I'm not about that, you know. But you can get it on my website. And so what I did is I took photos that I took throughout the year of flowers in bloom, because I'm particularly drawn to that. So it does have my photography in it, which makes me feel happy. And then a little bit about what I'm doing, and then all the days of the year, so you could enter that in, and lots of pretty picture of me with flowers on my head. And then you can have a place to record your theme for the month, which I love. Have been doing that for a while. And then now a place where you could just write in the day. If you just one word, there's only enough space to put one word, and that's
one word. Really making it simple.
Yeah, and then the reflections, like for that whole month, just write kind of a general overview of what you learned or what you want to remember. It's not a lot of work or anything. And then you could carry it around with you, so you could see the words and get inspired for the next month. And I made it on this really nice, shiny, thick paper, because I like to write with the Sharpie. And all the journals I have, the Sharpie runs through the other side, and it makes me frustrated. So this is a glossy kind of book for that. And I'm going to be doing a webinar, and we'll be using this. So that's the idea.
Really cool.
Thank you. I'm really excited. I have that energy and that excitement that
it is. I can feel it. It's like, hey, yes, this is my you know what I mean? When someone talks about their passion, when someone talks about something they're passionate about, you're like, oh yeah, I'm passionate about that too. Without it, you don't even, it spreads. It
does. And that energy and that there's just nothing better. So I'm so happy to meet you. I'm really, really happy about your message of truth and love. And oh my gosh, I'm really thrilled to have learned about your emotional side, because I think that's so important.
I think that's something I want to have more men understand, that it's real men love. You know, real men love, real men show emotions, and we don't have to hide it.
Sorry, I keep having to write down these quotes, but I love that. Real men love. So I sent you an introduction to the Dudes of Disruption, Nick Papalopoulos. I don't know how to say his name.
Gotta be great.
So I met him through a friend of mine, Tommy Spiro, and they had three guys were the Dudes of Disruption, and they have this weekly radio show, and it's really for men, and they do a men's ministry and retreats and stuff. And so they kind of just broke up into 3 different directions, but they support each other a lot. And Nick is still doing that Dudes of Disruption weekly show. So I thought that you should connect with him, because I think that I did pull that from you, that message of men being strong and emotional and willing to share their message. I think it's really important. And I don't know if you're into the topic of disruption. I think that that's really something that I can relate to as an older person, because you get really set in your ways, and you need some type of powerful way to disrupt and change.
I like that. I like how that's turned. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a reawakening, so I think that youthful energy that you have is going to be a great addition to that relationship. So I hope that works out for you. And if you have any other connections that you would like me to make, please do so. Everybody, you can find out more about Lou Redmond and Find Your Truth on my website at mizmeliz.com. And the replay of this video will be there and on YouTube. And you can connect with Lou. What's your website?
Lou Redmond, REDMOND.com.
LouRedmond.com. It can't get easier than that. That's awesome. And he's at Lou Speaks Truth on Twitter, which I love. I love that. So thank you so much for being here. Any parting thoughts?
Be love, send love, and
Love.
All love.
All love. Fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and go offline from Facebook. So goodbye, everybody at Facebook. But you could stay here, and we'll just, say our goodbyes. But have a great day, everybody.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being on Tinseltown Live with Miz Meliz.